who really won the India versus Pakistan war? For the first time, the French military has spoken on Islamabad's viral claims that it shot down multiple Indian Rafale fighter jets. Despite Pakistani claims, Rafale manufacturer Dassault Aviation's stock price is near all-time high, as Pakistan has simply failed to provide any evidence. Meanwhile, the stock price of China's Chengdu aircraft have fallen 20% from the mid-May high, again after initial claims of a J-10 shooting down a Rafale have been fact-checked to be fake. So what do the French military have to say about it? Meanwhile, the Indian military has admitted that at least one fighter jet was lost, but says that's not as important as completing the mission. In its first official reaction, the French military has revealed that it is unaware of any confirmed Rafale crash during the India-Pakistan conflict. At a press briefing in Paris recently, a spokesperson for the French Armed Forces and the ministry said, quote, "What we know most of all is that we don't know what happened. So indeed, there are a number of allegations that I will not repeat since there is no confirmed information," unquote. Now, this will surely break the hearts of Pakistani, Turkish and Chinese bots who have been claiming that the French had admitted a Rafale loss. Well, once again, that is just a fake claim. Just like Pakistan Prime Minister presented a fake old portrait of an old Chinese military drill to Asim Munir to hail Pakistan's military success. Now, the Indian Air Force flies over 580 fighter jets, so will the loss of one or two of them really matter in the big picture? Not at all. Secondly, the Indian Air Force maintains that all its pilots are safe and accounted for, so either no jet crashed or maybe Pakistanis hit unmanned drones and thought they actually scored a Rafale kill. This is not the first time Rafale has crashed either. Back in 2024, two French pilots were killed after their jets collided mid-air. The Rafale otherwise has an exceptionally good success rate, and only two other crashes have been reported, first in 2007 and after that in 2009. So Pakistani and Turkish handles were likely using old images to claim that an Indian jet had been shot. In fact, the Global Times considered the Chinese CCP's mouthpiece had initially also spread unverified reports of multiple Indian fighter jets being shot. The Indian Embassy had to fact-check Global Times on platform X, while users also corrected the outlet that there is no concrete evidence of any Indian fighter jet crash. So today, the Global Times lays the blame of misinformation on some media reports. So which are these other reports and where did they come from? Now, this article from Reuters has been widely cited to support claims on Rafale. However, it only quotes unnamed sources. There is no official word, no evidence given, just quotes from anonymous sources. Scanning down the article, we see that the reporter was based in Islamabad. Now, to its credit, Reuters ran a story later fact-checking claims of Indian fighter jet loss. This article highlighted how social media handles were using old 2024 Mi-29 crash image to make fake claims on Rafale. On the other hand, the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army have shown verifiable satellite images to confirm BrahMos missile strikes on 11 Pakistani air bases, after initially hitting 9 terror HQ deep inside Pakistani territory.
India again launched missile attacks, BrahMos.
Among those eliminated by Indian military strikes inside Pakistan was the culprit behind journalist Daniel Pearl's abduction and the Kandahar plane hijack. Is India willing to risk a couple of fighter jets to neutralize such terror masterminds? Absolutely yes. Did India beat Pakistan's Chinese air defenses and strike nearly 150 kilometers deep inside Pakistan? Yes, again, satellite images prove it. So what else did the French military reveal? Now, one thing is for sure. The recent India-Pakistan air war involved hundreds of fighter jets and has triggered global attention. India's Operation Sindoor, a series of precision airstrikes on 9 terror camps carried out on the night of May 6th-7th, will be studied by military experts around the globe. primarily on how the Indian military managed to beat Chinese-origin air defenses to hit their targets and evaded nearly every Pakistani counterstrike with debris of Chinese PL-15 missiles recovered by Indian authorities for further study. Now, France is a key defense partner of India and has now publicly acknowledged that it is in contact with Indian officials to understand what really happened. The French defense spokesperson added, quote, "The issue of the Rafale is, of course, of primary importance to us. We are naturally keen to understand what happened, and so we are trying to stay as close as possible to our Indian partner," unquote. Now, this article in the Eurasian Times quotes another French expert who debunks the Rafale crash reports as fake news. He claims the debris found in Wuyan village in Kashmir, India, is that of an external drop tank. Xavier Teitelman told France 24, quote, "These images are not proof that a plane was shot down. It shows a drop tank. When a jet goes on a mission, once it has used its fuel, it will lighten its load and drop its tank. It's something planes intentionally release during their missions," unquote. Moreover, the wing image being widely circulated first appeared online in 2024, so it is bound to be unrelated. All this evidence again gives weight to Indian claims that Chinese PL-15 missiles fired from JF-17s or J-10s failed to hit any Indian fighter jet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they've shot down any, because there's no reason for Indian Rafale aircraft, which is almost certainly what they were, to have left Indian airspace.
In fact, despite making loud claims, even the Pakistani government admits it has no official proof and says it saw random social media posts on the Rafale.
It's all over the social media, on Indian social media, not on our social media.
The Indian government has so far neither confirmed nor denied any reports of aircraft losses because officially Operation Sindoor has not ended. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri had claimed, quote, "We will share official information when the time is right." A few days later, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti, Director General of the Air Operations, offered a carefully worded response. He claimed, quote, "We are in a combat scenario and losses are part of it. The question is, have we achieved our objective? The answer is a thumping yes." As for details, I would not like to comment on that as we are still in combat and do not want to give advantage to the adversary. All our pilots are back home, unquote. Now, most of the Rafale claims are believed to have been amplified by Pakistan's Inter-Services Public Relations or ISPR wing to counter the psychological blow of Indian missile strikes on 11 Pakistani air bases, which the Pakistan Air Force simply failed to prevent.
बेस के ऊपर 4 सरफेस टू सरफेस ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल आए.
France's urgency to clarify the situation is also not surprising. The Rafale is a flagship aircraft in the global arms market, and its performance in the biggest air battle in recent history is sure to impact its sales in the global market. When the dust settled, 9 terror bases and 11 Pakistani air bases had been hit by India. And even though the Indus Water Treaty is still in abeyance, Pakistan called India to request a ceasefire. India's Operation Sindoor was a bold response to the Pahalgam terror attack, where a Pakistan-based terror group eliminated 26 male tourists in front of their families, nearly all of them for simply being a Hindu. The Indian government now claims acts of terror will be treated as acts of war by Pakistan.
India will identify, track and punish every terrorist.
We are responding to a particularly barbaric terrorist attack on 22nd April.
But what do you believe? Should the world acknowledge Pakistan as a failed terror state? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.